What's up, Binge World? You already know what time it is. Today is the day. I got my homeboy, Vini Freak on,
What up, what up, what up?
aka Chente, aka Freaky Deaky Leaky.
Got a lot of names for me.
Yeah, I have a lot of names for everybody, actually.
Can't keep track of them.
Yeah, what other names can you think of?
Idiot. I don't know.
No, I don't call you an idiot. What the hell are you talking about?
Oh, man.
Oh, boy. Yeah, wow, what a eventful night last night. I don't think I can party like that.
If we look rough, it's because we had a good time last night.
I had a really good time.
We call ourselves drunk raccoons when we get into that mode. There's actually a story behind that, too. So
You can just talk to me. We don't talking to the
No,
audience.
I'm just looking.
The
I'm
audience
like-
on the cameras.
I'm looking
Hey,
around
guys.
so I can think. I'm looking at you.
The drunk raccoons were back in business yesterday,
Yeah.
but I don't think I can drunk raccoon. I'm pulling Susan here with the mic. Yeah, I don't think I can do drunk raccoon business like that as often anymore. I don't even know if I can do it anymore at all.
No, it's uncomfortable now.
I tried out.
Back in the day when we were 25, 26, we were fine.
Yeah, I guess so. I don't know. I just kind of.
We would wake up the next day and do it again.
Yeah.
Go get some Thai food.
Yeah, I mean, we were out at the club till 4 or 5 on a Thursday, and we didn't
Yeah.
even plan to do that,
Yeah.
which is pretty crazy.
A couple of dudes in their 30s just at the club on a Thursday. I don't even know how we ended up there.
Well,
It went from let's leave at 1 o'clock and go home to, oh, shoot, we're...
that's the story of my life. If I go to Sound or I go out to any club, the chance of me getting sucked into the after hours is pretty high. It hasn't been as high since the baby has arrived, so that's been
Yeah.
nice. A great, perfect excuse not to go out. I've
baby's
actually-
making you become a healthy grown adult.
Yeah, I've definitely been a little bit more on top of my game and just making, sometimes you stay out and you network a bunch and
Yeah.
or you're trying to support all your friends and show face like we were trying to do yesterday.
Right.
We hit like the Kiss Kiss Bang Bang for the Factor 93.
Yeah.
And then Sound for the casings and then you just get sucked into the after hours.
We did our rounds,
did
and then
our rounds.
by the time we were done doing our rounds, we're like, we're never leaving. Let's
What
keep
was your
going.
What was your first after hours experience in LA?
Freaky Friday.
Freaky Friday was your first afters?
Yeah. I don't remember how we started talking about it. I think Tony actually brought it up. And he's like, dude, there's a sick after hours that this kid, Chris Brown, throws. It's called Freaky Friday.
Let me remember. Sorry to interrupt, but I'll have to tell you a funny story about Chris Brown. But
And I was like, yeah, this sounds kind of sick. Let's go. And then Tony and I dressed up in these outrageous outfits. Went to the club and DJ'd back to back, like just rolling, ripping tech house. And that was like the first time I was ever seen a party like that because Portland didn't have that kind of stuff. And
it was like because he had a couple different locations.
Yeah,
and it was at the smaller
it was a
space
smaller one with like the clouds.
and the outdoor area. Yeah.
Yeah. But I mean, that thing was ripping until 5 a.m.
Yeah, Rufus Du Sol played there.
Yeah.
In the outdoor. There was like two stages, the outdoor and the indoor stage, which was cool.
Yeah, but it blew my mind. I was like, damn, like this actually happens, you know?
Yeah, I guess not to lose my track of thought. You said Chris Brown.
Yeah.
And I was one time I came back from Portland to LA in that era, and I didn't know that his name was Chris Brown. I just knew him as mentioned, and I got home. I flew in. It was like 9 or 10. I went to sleep early because I was tired, and I wake up at like 2 a.m., 3 a.m., and I'm just like on my phone, chilling. And you know how we would go out. Everybody's texting, asking, "Well, what are you doing? Where are you at?" And I don't know who'd hit me up, like, "Bro, we're at Chris Brown's right now. You gotta come." And I was like, "Damn, Chris Brown." I was like, ah. And I was literally in the bed sleeping, and I was like, damn, not every day you get opportunity to go party at Chris Brown's house. And I get up, I dressed up, I caught an Uber, and I get
Like,
there.
getting all stoked. All right.
I'm like, I'm going to some mansion right now, mansion party. You know what I'm saying? And then I get there and it's Chris.
You're like, oh.
Like, you're Chris
You
Brown.
pull out, you're like, are you sure this is the right location?
And then I remember two funny, well, what was I gonna say? Something about Freaky Friday, that location I remember.
Yeah.
Well, actually now I remember what I was trying to say. So at first I've never, in Portland when we lived there and I was in the bass music scene, I didn't know, like, about after hours. There were some pop-ups, but there wasn't like a very consistent one.
No.
But
the only after hours I would think of was just like everyone would go to a house
yeah,
and chill, you know?
but there were, honestly, and I'm like surprisingly like first party that I ever threw was an after party because Autumn
really?
and I didn't have any following, and we were kind of, that area where the 45 is right now,
Yeah.
like in those bridges.
Yeah.
There was old venue there. I don't remember what it was called. It was but they did like it was pretty big, and there was large outdoor area. They did like Closer Festival there, remember? Something like that. It was like a Portland electronic music festival.
I don't
Anyways.
think I was in town for that probably.
That was like 2000.
Probably when I was in college.
It was maybe a little bit right before
Yeah.
you were. I was like 21, 22, so
Oh,
you
okay.
might have been even underage, I
Yeah.
guess. But anyways, so we ended up somebody invited us, and we ended up going to this place called Dub Temple, and this guy Jonafari was his name. He was running the spot, and it was super sick. They had like the only not sick part about it that there was not even no porta parties. He was they had like, oh my god, that's so gross. I'm afraid to say it. they had freaking what is it called, like makeshift like little rooms, and then it would be hall, and he would have a bucket, and
No way.
he ran buckets, and he was
Who would take it out?
him.
What?
Yeah, he was, just running the whole space, but he really took care of that. As gross as it sounds,
Yeah.
it wasn't as gross because he really took care of the whole space.
Yeah.
As an example, like the main room had like all carpeted area, and it was one of those where like you have a bunch of lounges and pillows and stuff, and
Right.
everybody, and you had to take your shoes off.
I think how long did that run? Because I feel like I went to one of those.
For a while,
Yeah.
it ran, and then we threw a party there, and it pretty much got shut down after we did like one or two, but not because of us.
Did
just-
someone like a famous DJ have an afters there?
I'm sure it was like an
Yeah.
after hours spot.
Yeah.
It was, it was so sick. I remember it was like a small, just big boxy room, and that's when I actually decided to start making trap music because he had a giant subwoofer, and I remember just hearing this Jackal song. It was like boom.
Yeah.
So but the bass was 808, was hitting so hard. Anyways, so we would go to an event at that other venue, and I would make this little card. It was before Instagram. We made like little flyers, and they were like handout cards, and we basically would like hand them out to all these people, and go do like, and then we ended up throwing this trap after party a couple times, which was super fun. But other than that, I don't remember being. Maybe I just didn't know.
I just don't think there was a big after hours culture in Portland. I mean, the music scene in general there is pretty small. You don't really have a lot. I mean, sometimes it's a collective start, but I feel like they always just kind of go in and out. Parties come in and out. There's not like a long-standing venue or party,
I don't think people just don't party as hard. I feel like
Yeah,
here
it's
in
too
LA,
cold.
people it's
Too
like,
depressing.
It's what it's called, like this full-time job. Some
Yeah.
people are just like every night they're out, till 5 a.m. Like I can't. We do run after hours,
Yeah.
so which is like 7 days a week. But I'm like crazy. I don't know. Some people are. It's a.
Well, some people like after hours more than just going out regular.
Well, for
clubs
some
too.
people, those are regular. In Europe, people don't go out until midnight. You know what I mean? Here, midnight is like peak hour. And in
Right.
Europe, people are like 12, you just leave your house
Yeah.
to go see DJ headline at like 2, 3 a.m. That's, and you party till 5, 6,
Right.
7.
Let the sun come up.
Let the sun come up,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah, for most people, that's a scary thought. But, for most of Europe, maybe, on the East Coast too, it's normal.
Yeah, Europeans party a lot harder.
Yeah.
Not harder, but I feel like they definitely... Americans party different. I love how Americans party.
Yeah.
But the parties in America is sick.
Yeah.
I remember just seeing the house parties on the freaking movies.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah.
we've been to a couple of those with you here in LA. It was so crazy.
Yeah, we showed up. I'm like, wow. That was another thing that I didn't really know existed outside of movies was those kind of house parties. And we'd go up into the Hollywood Hills and walk through the house. All of a sudden, that would open up to a big backyard. It'd be a ton of people.
So, and I'm
Diplo DJing and shit.
I don't remember if I saw Diplo, but I remember you and I went to a couple. I don't know who invited us.
Did you go to that one that had the court in the pool?
And an LED screen in a room of the house.
Yeah, it was like a full DJ setup.
Like Bonnie and Clyde or somebody were DJing or something. Maybe we even came up. Did we? Maybe we even played one song or something.
I don't know if we did, but I think at that time I was too green, too scared.
Blake Weber was there, I remember.
Yeah.
But yeah, what an era. Pre-corona, pre-corona after parties.
Definitely was it had a different feel after Corona.
You were getting booked for a lot of them once you started doing Freaky Friday, because once I got here, I had no bookings at all.
Yeah.
And you were Tony connected you with Chris.
Yeah.
And I think, you probably had already a couple of releases on house calls.
And prescription at the time.
Remember we went to another one where you played and the green room was in a bus?
Yeah. Yeah.
What was that?
I think that was called Ace. Was it the Ace party? All you can eat or whatever.
Yeah, they maybe still do it.
I don't know if they are or not. But that was that in LA or was that outside in Orange County or something?
I'm pretty sure it was in LA. I don't think it was too far. It was probably downtown, I would assume.
I think that was the night Morelli and I both played that party.
What else did? Not that big warehouse for Freaky, but that was
the
sick.
big warehouse, the one where we wore the matching outfits.
Yeah, that spot was sick.
Yeah, I think that was the best spot. It sucks that did it burn down or got rolled or something.
Once the parties get that big, those spots don't, people kind of bounce around. I think we have, there's a few parties right now that are of that size, an actual warehouse, and it seems like they move around quite often just because.
Yeah, you got to keep them on their toes so they don't know where to go. But
locations get blown up, if you know what I'm saying.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, at least the culture is still there. I almost feel like it's growing way more. All these after party people are just out here now.
Well, they just became
parties.
more. I feel like at least what we brought to the after hour scene was Blind Tiger is. Until then, I felt like even the graphics where people were doing were kind of cheap. Nobody really did the after party. You book good DJs. Chris booked good DJs, but I feel like, I don't know. I feel like we definitely stepped the game up and just were okay.
You treated it like a real club.
Well, I don't even call it the after. We call it the afters. And, that's the funny part about, a lot of people who copy us, they say afters because we have the afters hats and we have afters on the flyer.
Right.
And what I mean by afters is after hours.
Yeah.
But they think it's an after party.
Yeah.
Because it's after another event. But for me, it's going out at 9, when we have we're about to start this new club, which is going to be interesting. And it's actually kind of better now that the baby is here. But, in general, for the past few years, after hours for me was it's not coming out at 1. It's okay, that's solid. It's you get your day.
Yeah, I remember we would take a nap or something, and we'd just go out 1 because we would be playing at 2 or something.
Yeah, as a matter of fact, tonight we're gonna do a little
probably what we're gonna do tonight. I'm gonna take a little nap and then
naparuski
and then pop out. But
what's new with you? What's up with the music? What are you cooking right now? You're showing me all of your demos. They sound really good.
I've been making a lot of rolling house music.
You always call it rollers.
The rollers.
Yeah, what do you mean by that exactly?
This is rolling bass lines, stuff you can groove to. I went through
like a 16-minute or 16 note bass line, or like gliding,
No,
or what
I
do
mean,
you mean
it
by like,
depends.
or
But
like
yeah,
boom, 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 boom,
sometimes a 2-note bass line
you
can do
know?
it. A 3-note
Well,
bass line does.
the famous Freaks bass line, the
Yeah, you know.
boom, 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 boom.
I have to have a signature, bro. Yeah, I don't know. I'm really stoked on what I'm making now. I had a weird minute, I think, where I just was like kind of lost.
Sometimes,
And I was writing not good music, and just kind of like I was like, okay. I like took a step back and started thinking like, what do I want to make? Like, what makes me happy? Like, I want to be in the studio, standing up, dancing when I'm make something. I go woo, instead of like trying to force it. So it was good. Took going sober for a couple years and finding my sound and reevaluating. So. No, I think I'm on a good path with the music. But yeah, I went through a lot of different sounds. I feel like trying to find and fit in kind of deal.
Yeah, that's the hardest part. I've done that, when I was transitioning to binge watch, and before Deaf Mind, to get to Deaf Mind, I was doing the same thing where I was like exactly what I'm gonna make. And for me, it's not even gets outside of studio. That's kind of one of the reasons why Blind Tiger exists, because I needed to throw a party to DJ, to get the response from the crowd, to know what I want to do. Because for me, it's like right before I wrote like 3 different albums. One was like trippy, drippy trap music. The other one was like mid-tempo, like Raz kind of inspired. And I was just writing albums, but then I didn't use any of that because I ended up going to some of those events, and I was like, this is cool. Like creatively, it's cool. I can dig with it in the studio. It's challenging for me to produce. I get it. And yeah, like honestly, thanks to you, because I remember I was like,
it's when we went down to San Diego, and you're like, I get it now.
Well, I was just in general decided that I was like, okay, I need to, like, because I would even go to Space Yacht base nights, and I was already not having fun. I was like standing
burnt out.
I was like grumpy. I was like, yeah, I'm not getting booked. I got all these streams. I've opened for all these guys.
Yeah.
Like, why? And then they would have somebody local for the opener who is like doesn't have as many streams or followers, and I was like, why am I not playing this slot? What the hell? And I was just getting jaded, and I wasn't even enjoying the music. I was just there like for that goal.
Right.
And I took like technically a year off, and just that's when you and I started hanging out a lot more, because we just started going out and partying, and you were DJing and getting booked for like the silent discos, and Cyboy was around and he was booking
silent disco.
Silent disco.
Nocturnal.
You want to tell the story?
Yeah, so the reason why I was cracking up is because Art and I went to Nocturnal, and I was playing the silent disco. And Art had made a what was the milkshake edit, and I put it on my USB, but I had 2 versions, and I didn't change the names. They both said milkshake or something on them, and I started bringing it in, and I'm like, well, I can't take it out now.
No, you were like, you were guessing me up the whole day. I was like so excited. Finally, this was my first binge watch track.
Yeah.
And I was like, so I wanted to get a video, obviously. And you were like, yeah, I'm gonna play this during my set. And you had a wrong remix.
Yeah. Long story short, I played the wrong.
And then you turned around at me and you're mixing it in, and you're like.
and I turned back around, and then all of a sudden something nails me in the back, and it's Art's silent disco headphones. He chucked it at me. He was so mad.
Well, we have a great history actually of me checking headphones at you.
Yeah.
It was the recent incident.
I know. I had a flashback in Miami, and when you did it again.
Shout out Athena. She got under a hot headphone.
Yeah, I know. She was friendly fire.
But yeah, we were doing the Miami Music Week party, and we had like Miami Music Week parties pretty tough, because there's a lot of competition.
There's so much stuff going on, man.
So I got a little dance floor going, like maybe 10, 15 people. The venue was small, so it was groovy, it was vibey. Freak comes over, gets on dance floor, takes all the girls off the dance floor, and goes sits down.
Not on purpose.
Well, I don't know. Maybe be polite and stand for your friends. I
went to go get a drink real quick, and they just They just
then
followed
you
me.
just sat down on the couch, and then they all followed you. And then I was like, "Freak, come DJ with me." And you were like, and I was, and you know, my aim is not the best.
Well, I was sitting like this, and I see right in front of me.
It was a gesture for a offer to
Yeah,
back to
you were
back
like-
together. I was like, "Here's your turn."
Oh,
calling
man.
me right now.
Yeah,
My
that was
mom-
funny.
Mom, you're gonna have to wait.
Music, who?
My mom is calling me.
Yeah, Music Week is you either hate it or you love it.
You know, yeah. Oh my God, this last music. I'm not going back there without Janessa. It's,
Yeah,
that's not
that's
good
right.
for me.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Drunk Raccoon again last time.
Yeah, I was really on unhinged.
You were
Honestly-
stressed though. I feel like.
Yeah, I was stressed about the show. I was trying to pack it out. I got,
Yeah.
you know, and you're in a different city, new venue. You know, a lot of hype from across America too, because you know people are excited for you to be in Miami. You know,
Yeah.
and we have a turnout at the after hours on a Saturday. It's like 10 times better and easier. So it's
Yeah.
like you're doing 10 times more work. The art works. The lineup. I booked so many artists. You know,
Yep.
obviously. A lot of people are there, so they're bouncing around. So it's nice.
Yeah.
It's a little easier actually to book in Miami because people out they want to play and they're not trying to charge you crazy fees or anything.
Right. It is kind of hard though because even if you do have all those DJs on your lineup, sometimes they just come in and out. They don't stick
Exactly, yeah.
around, you know, because they're like, oh, I got to go to this after this, and
Well, that's why I feel
so it's
like,
hard to keep people at the parties.
That's why I mean
You might have a lot of people, but it's like rotating, you know.
That's why, like, I mean, yeah, this year we're trying to find the right venue because I want to
Yeah.
make it fun to be there.
Right.
And, like, I almost want to treat it more like a pop-up. Like, we have all this, like, sponsored alcohol and stuff and maybe, like, giving away, doing an open bar or, like, giving, you know, something where people are incentivized because, yeah, it's, like, there's so many events happening and, like, even super big DJs have, like, nobody.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
Like-
Yeah, there's parties that, you know, you think would pop off and they just don't, and that's kind of the luck of the draw sometimes. But I think, too, day parties maybe are like the better vibe.
For sure, for sure.
out
And you're
there.
not competing with like the big wigs,
Yeah.
like you know, the Factory Town
Yeah.
and you know,
Space, yeah.
Space operates during the day too, but I feel like it does slow down like
Yeah.
into that evening hour or something.
Right. I almost feel like an earlier week one, too, because people will be fresh, you know?
Yeah, but not everybody gets there yet. So
Right.
you basically what we did like, hours on Wednesday, and I definitely want to do a Thursday because like Hood
Yeah.
Politics was on Thursday.
What
and-
about like a boat party or something?
But I have somebody who has a yacht, and I actually need to hit them up and
Yeah.
set it up. It will be more of like a live stream.
Right.
Manny did a really sick boat party.
Yeah, that one was cool. The one
but
that Teague
The
played.
sound was something was wrong with the sound. I haven't tried to try and find and help like the amplifier or something, but basically like there was no sound guy. And so they were it was basically very distorted, and they weren't doing redlining on the mixer, so it was coming in hot on whatever amp system that they
Right.
had. But the boat, that was the only thing that I could say but the boat and the experience, it was a little bit of a hassle, definitely to get on and off
Yeah.
with the boat there, and then if you want to get off, you have to wait. But they killed it. The DJs were great.
Yeah.
The filming of it is really good.
Yeah, I
It's
saw
high
that. That was
quality.
really cool. The only thing that does suck about those is half the time they won't let you get on and off. Like they won't be taking people, you know.
Well,
so
it's like
you
you're
might be
also
stuck on
paying
it.
to. It's like I mean, I don't know. It's very expensive to throw it because you have to rent the boat. You know what I mean?
Right.
And the boat.
I was thinking more like a smaller yacht, like during the day, just like 20 people, 30 people,
Oh yeah,
friends.
100%.
Yeah.
I need to get like a second sound system, like same one that we have portable for the pop-up events on the East Coast.
Yeah.
The way I was even considering, I'm like, cause yeah, it's like that system for solar. I mean, we bump like I don't know. I mean, it's a few hundred people, I think, and it works great.
Yeah. Yeah, I think so. Is that the one that's in the new club now?
It's just standing there for the sound check, but
Yeah.
the new club is gonna have the Void sound system.
The Void.
The Void.
That's sick. That's what's up.
What else can you tell me about yourself? When did you pierce your nose?
December of 2022.
What made you do it?
I just wanted to be different. No,
Right.
I don't know. I always wanted one, so I was like, fuck it, I'm doing it. Who cares?
Nice. Does
It's
it
not
hurt?
that serious. No.
You just do twist it? What you do is it play around?
No, I don't move it. I don't
Nothing? You
touch
don't
it.
do
I
anything?
don't like feeling
You don't
it.
touch it? You don't
Yeah.
feel it? What if you blow your nose?
Then you get boogers on it.
You get infected?
Yeah.
Does it get infected?
No.
You never got it infected?
Well, when it first, like, you know, you got to take
took
care of
you a
it.
while?
You got to take care of it. Not as much as the side of the nose, though. I don't want to do that because I've seen people go through that shit, and it
Really?
doesn't look fun.
What's the difference?
It's harder to heal, and you can scar and get that, like, keloid thing, you know, so
Yeah.
enough about that, though.
Why you stop smoking weed?
I was getting lazy and too much in my head. I think.
Really?
Yeah.
You became a stoner?
Oh,
You went from one puff.
Yeah. Well, when I stopped drinking, I was, you know, just chilling, and then my roommate at the time, he's smoking all the time. So, and he always had a pen. So I started, like, you know, doing it here and there. I used to hate smoking.
Yeah, I know. You go back and forth.
Yeah, but before I just couldn't do it. I just hated it, and I think it's maybe because I was drinking and smoking, getting cross. But this time I was just like, oh, I kind of like this a lot. I could write music, I could chill, you know. But maybe it's the strains that I started smoking, like bad strains or something. But I was just getting in my head too much after like a year. I was like overthinking everything and
It's also the
being
amount.
negative in my head.
Sometimes with the pen you can really
I think I was overdoing it too. I was ripping that thing. Like,
it's easy to overdo the oil.
Yeah.
The oil is much easier to overdo than the weed. Because
Right.
then the weed itself feels like you have to actually inhale it. So it's like, and if
Yeah.
you're not a big smoker, it's actually hard to inhale. So.
yeah.
But
No, I enjoyed it. I just needed to take a break from it, like anything. I like to cut stuff off cold turkey. I don't know why. I'm just doing it, and then I'm like, oh, I'm done, you know. And I'll probably pick it up
some
again
people
at some
do
point.
that. Some
But
people, yeah.
yeah,
I'm not a big cold turkey. I kind of slowly fade in and out of things.
yeah. I think for me too, it was just slowing me down a little bit. Like waking up, I would smoke at night before I'd go to bed, so I'd wake up groggy all the time, you know. And it was hard to get up and get my day started. So
It's so easy for me to wake up.
yeah, I mean, you've been doing it for a while. So
Yeah. Just
when's the first time you smoked weed? How old were you?
like 14,
Oh, okay, yeah.
some 13 or something.
Yeah, I think I might have tried it. I tried it in high school around that time, and I was like, oh.
It was crazy. First time was wild. It was like psychedelic. It was like
Really?
yeah. It was like doing mushrooms. That's how crazy it was. Like, but you couldn't stop
were like,
giggling. The
"Whoa."
giggles. You like now I don't have the like giggles, but then you would get giggles and you can't stop laughing.
Yeah,
That's crazy. You
yeah.
remember that?
I do.
Do you ever?
I remember the first time doing shrooms too.
Oh my god!
Yeah.
That shit's, what was
Eyes
it?
were watering, just everything was funny.
Shrooms can give you crazy giggles.
I know it was. I remember someone was somebody, and they're like, "My skin looks like a flower," and for some reason, I thought that was the funniest thing.
In Russia, nobody people don't do. Maybe now because of the internet, people know more about the shrooms. But back when I moved here, like in Russia, like you would know, like you would say, people would joke around about psychedelic mushrooms, but you wouldn't even like. You would just think like. You get like maybe spirals or something, you know what I mean? Or like, you know, those things that they show you on TV, like like
the trippy visuals.
the trippy visuals.
I was watching that as a kid, like, whoa.
So I'm like driving to my first time buying weed in America, and we drove for 2 hours to Eugene with my Korean classmate because we didn't know where to get the weed.
That's crazy.
So we get to Eugene. And these guys that are driving us to the dealer, they're like, "Yo, he's got mushrooms too." And they're like, "You want some?" And I was like, "What?" I was like, "What are they like?" And they're like, "Kind of like weed."
Oh shit!
And I was like, "Yeah." I was like, "Give me $20 worth."
Yeah. Oh my
And
gosh.
so we were staying the night. He was Korean, so we actually the plug, the guy that connected us with his plug was his Korean cousin, and who lived in Korean dorm.
Okay.
And so we were staying the night in Korean dorms, and that's where, and so we're like, and I was like fresh off the boat. So I mean, people
Yeah.
already, I talk to people. Some people really, it's entertaining for them with my like slang and
Yeah.
how and at that time was probably even funnier because I was like so fresh. So these guys that got the shrooms, they're like, so yeah, I was like, when are you guys gonna take this? I was like, I don't know, right now. We got that's the
Was
night.
it? Yeah.
And so we go. They're like,
It was full shrooms.
yeah, it was like real
Yeah.
full shrooms, and these guys are like, for real? They're like, oh, you've never done this? And they're already like laughing. They're like, yo, I'm gonna go grab my weed from my dorms. I'm gonna come over, hang out with you guys, watch you do shrooms. So and I took him, and I remember like it was just such a crazy experience. Like,
Yeah.
from like I remember opening the Motorola Razr, and it was just like. It felt so
Everything's
future.
yeah.
All the light. No, it didn't. It wasn't moon. It was
really?
it was like very high tech, like a very high tech experience. You know what I mean? It was not nearly as trippy. It was like my brain was like I was definitely sketching myself out, though, but I started speaking better right away.
No
I was
way.
like telling these guys stories. At first, I was like kind of timid, and I was like, and then I was like, I was literally just like still talking the way I'm talking right now.
Yeah.
And just,
Shrooms has that experience. Like, can have that effect. You know, you take them and you get more energy. You're a little bit more outgoing. I remember when I first stopped drinking and I was like trying to figure out how to like calm my nerves when I'm DJing. I thought shrooms would be a good idea. So I was like, yeah. Because I had taken some by myself at the time just to try it out. I was like, yeah, my friend gave me some, his company's called P Simple. He gave me some. And I was like writing music with it. And I was like, whoa, this is like, chill. Like, I'm fine. But when the nerves hit and there's a bunch of people looking at you when you're trying to DJ.
oh my God, yeah, I can't go to club or festival.
Yeah, I was like
psychedelics.
looking at, I was like, don't look at me. Like, are you guys having fun? Yeah.
Everybody's just like,
Everyone's like, yeah. I'm like, why are they all staring
everybody's
at me?
faces look so weird. You're like, whoa, and everybody's trying to talk to you. And you're like, what the hell?
Yeah. And I mean, at the time, I think, for the most part, I had always had a drink while out and DJing. So it was like the first time really being out, being a performer, talking to people that are all, on something probably, and you're the only sober one, and it feels super uncomfortable, and like everything's closing in on you.
A lot of people are sober once you realize, but but the drunk people become extremely annoying when you're sober.
Yeah.
Like hanging out with a drunk person when you're sober is so annoying. I can't imagine how some of my friends probably had to deal with me while I was drunk, just doing stupid stuff.
Yeah, pouring drinks on us. And
yeah.
We're DJing and we just hear, and you look back and you're going, you're like, what the hell?
Susan was talking how I tried to light him on fire.
What? In Miami?
No, it was in San Diego, but I wasn't trying to light him on fire. I was trying. You know how he's super sweaty.
Yeah.
So
You're trying to dry him off.
I basically was like trying to prove a point that his hair wouldn't catch fire because how wet it was. And it was in front of his dad too, and we were on stage while he was DJing. It was so funny.
Damn.
And I was like,
that's crazy. Yeah. We do some silly stuff when we're drunk records.
Yeah, it sounds crazier than it is, honestly.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know, maybe to me, maybe when you're on the receiving end.
That is kind of crazy. You're in your head, you're like sitting there drunk, you're like, watch this.
I don't know.
His hair's not gonna burn, it's too wet.
There's like a video of me from that party, and I have a VHS camera, and I got front row during the set. And I flipped the thing, and I'm like... I don't think I was having so much fun.
Was that pre-COVID?
No, it was recently. He had us, Janessa and I, he put us to open for his Hard Rock Cafe headline.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
It was fun.
Man, remember that Hood Politics boat party right before COVID? It was the weekend that COVID happened.
No, it was the weekend before the COVID happened.
It happened that weekend. We were at Cross, and they started to shut stuff down. Remember, Cross was like, "We're still going."
Yeah, they're still going.
Yeah.
But then they didn't shut it down because Tuesday I played Space Yacht.
Yeah,
and then on Friday they shut it down.
Right. It was like that week. Because I remember I was going into work and people just started
Yeah, I just
dropping like
remember
flies.
being in Topanga, like
Yeah.
standing in that little hallway all together, and we're like, "What?
Yeah, like,
Everything
what's
is closed.
going on?"
We can't go anywhere." Right now, with the fires, kind of felt like it was a very similar experience to that, like in both on social media,
Right.
and like obviously evacuate. This time was the opposite. They did say stay indoor, but then people had it was during Corona, nobody was evacuating,
Yeah.
obviously. But now they were like stay indoor, leave now.
Yeah.
Because of the air filtration or whatever.
Right. But yeah, that boat party was like, we were like, this is gonna be the sickest year ever.
It was so fun.
That's how it felt.
It was so fun.
We had the matching outfits once again.
We were, and then remember when we had again match? We had so many cool matching outfits.
Yeah.
It just reminded me. And then we were talking about DJing on mushrooms. You were just talking. That reminded me when we played that Renegade. And well, you it was so funny because they offered you to play and you didn't take it, and then ended up just coming with me and still playing it.
Where was this at?
It was like on the ranch where there was a Tesla and the goats were walking all over the Tesla.
Where were your cowboys?
Cowboys,
And I did
yeah.
the stand up.
When the stage caught fire and blew up during your set. It was crazy. So
man.
fun. But that was
I was with Brock's RV, right? Yeah.
we took acid, and
Yeah.
I come out, and we already, I think, have played maybe on the V10 because Tony got the V10 early, but I haven't seen the 3000s yet. And I come out to DJ, and I wasn't like tripping crazy or anything, like
Right.
but
You're like, why is the screen so
but then I walk out and I see the 3000s, and I'm like, whoa, this is crazy. This is. But
man.
those were crazy days. I mean, that was not even like technically like a serious gig. It was just like, but technically, the setup was pretty serious.
It was cool.
Yeah, the setup was actually official, but it definitely was. There was like we were partying on stage all together pretty much. There was like not very.
There's some
much.
great pictures from that weekend too. That was fun.
What a fun weekend! Yeah, you were doing in this economy. What was it? Do you remember?
I don't know. We were all.
It was so funny. That I remember giggling so
the stand
hard
up with
about.
the mic that had like the speaker on it.
So funny.
Yeah, we've had some crazy good times, man. Going to music festivals, EDC. Remember we were driving down. Was it EDC? No, it was Nocturnal or one of them. You didn't have a ticket. You're like, it's gonna work out. I'm gonna get it. And I was like, I don't know, bro. And somehow we get there, and was it Cyboy? He's like, yeah, I got you. Come in.
Well, I was like
And
driving.
you're like, see, it works out all the time.
I know. Well, I had the plan. I had like my bands, a bunch of them. So I was either just gonna try and like walk by with you guys and have a band, or I literally was standing in front of ATM trying to pull out cash to buy a ticket from somebody on one of those apps.
Right.
That's where it was getting. And as I was doing, Sai called me and he was like, yo, where you at? What are you doing? And I was like, yeah, I'm trying to get in. And he's like, oh, they gave Kirsty like an extra VIP. They gave her an artist band and a VIP band or something. So he gave me one of the bands.
Yeah.
I didn't have an artist band, but it was fun.
Yeah, I think that was the first time. He was running the merch or something then, right?
He was working at the merch booth, so he was always getting guest lists. And he was guest listing to all of the previous festivals. So for that specific festival, he like told me in advance. He was like, yo, I'm not going to get you guest list for this. I'm going to like do one of my family members or something like that. Like I won't be able to take you. So I knew in advance that I wasn't going to be able to get guest listed through Sai. But yeah, we did go to a lot of crazy festivals.
Yeah.
What other festivals?
I mean, we did EDC a couple times.
Nocturnal.
Beyond. Pretty sure.
What else have we done?
But you never went to Canada with us for Shambhala. No.
We haven't played together in a while, like on the same bill.
Yeah, it's been a long time.
Yeah, I don't know. People don't book us together anymore. Come on, boys, girls.
Freak watch.
Freak watch, yeah.
Well, yeah, we did that live stream and exchange. That was kind of the last
fun, yeah.
real Freak watch set, pretty much.
Technically, yeah, I guess. Yeah.
And then we started just doing afters together. Remember the first afters? It just blew up. There were so many people outside,
Oh my
and I had
God.
that video, and I was like, illegal rave. we're like, let's go.
Yeah,
you were wearing that cowboy hat or
we were
something?
wearing masks. You couldn't. But do you remember when we got up on that balcony and the police came and everybody, and we were just DJing from that? That was the first one.
jerry-rigged speakers.
No, that's the first setup was actually legit because that homie, shout out, I forget his name right now, but super homie from San Fernando, whatever.
Oh yeah, he brought
a
those
full
dopes.
sound
Yeah.
system, and then we downgraded to Tony's subwoofer. Yamaha.
We had some jerry-rigged speakers. My my
Everything was-
900s.
Everything was jerry. It was like
Yeah.
your 900.
The old Behringer mixer.
It wasn't the Behringer mixer. It was the controller. That it wasn't even like a real mixer. It was like a controller.
Oh yeah.
And it wasn't like the RMX. It was like a controller you would need to use with the computer, but it had like mixer function.
We had that food cart too. What happened to that food cart?
I don't remember. We've had a couple different food carts, I guess.
That was dank. I remember that. But yeah, that's crazy how things just grow and
That
change.
space, you can't really do events there, unfortunately. It's just like it really only gets fun there in the evening, and that's when you get the noise complaint, and that's when you get shut down. And it's like unfortunate. But
Yeah, because it could be a really cool spot, but it's kind of where it's right by the police station.
well, it's not the police. Police doesn't care. It's the
Yeah.
people in the building that live next to it.
Oh,
And we definitely, we've done a few, but we definitely, I think last time we did it, we kind of abused it. We were like partying, and the after started, and we went back out, me and a couple of homies, and we were like listening to the Void sound system at 3 a.m.
Oh, shit.
outside. Like, I was like, yo, put on Trent Mauler, put on The Last Resort. And we were like doing sound tests. I think that got people riled up.
yeah.
Pretty crazy.
Well, then you guys got that other cool spot. The long one.
The solar,
Yeah.
I gotta figure out how to get back there because the homie that was renting it to us doesn't rent it himself.
Oh, really?
Or something. And I was trying. I was like, "Oh man, maybe I can get it or rent it." But
That's a cool little spot.
yeah, I like outdoors vibes.
Yeah,
summer parties. I had so much fun this summer just DJing outside.
Yeah. I would rather DJ during the day outside surrounded by people than, in a club on a stage like away from everyone.
When you're on a stage where you even have like a gap from your table to the end of the stage, and then you have like
there's
there's like a ton of people, and everybody's just like standing like this, walking, looking at you.
Yeah, it doesn't feel right for some reason.
Yeah, no, and even when you have a couple of your homies on stage with you, like I like when it's freaking you're in the mid grinder of it. You know what I mean? Like with everybody surrounded.
There's that energy, and it's becoming very popular now.
Yeah,
that boiler room style. But it's a good thing.
We don't even mean
like.
for like we don't. People now produce it that way. Like our party is literally just we're like trying to keep people out of the backstage.
Yeah.
Like, "Ah."
Yeah.
We had sound. It was like they give us like I think the backstage limit there's like 50 people or something, which is quite a bit.
Mm-hmm.
But like.
Yeah, that place can get
It was
packed back there.
cutthroat for the people were like, I need come on. I was like, man, we already gave out 50. Like, I literally was just saying, because we couldn't even have certain people back there. I was hanging out in the main area, and people were like, gonna get a band. I was like, I'm here. What do you need to like? Let's, I'm hanging out here so everybody can,
Yeah. I miss how sound used to be the sideways.
Really?
Yeah.
I don't.
No?
I felt like.
I just felt like there was more room back there, like if you really wanted a bunch of people. But
in the backstage.
for the backstage,
Yeah.
Not necessarily how to set up dance floor wise. It's cooler now. All the lights
I
and
agree.
stuff is
The bigger backstage, but sometimes goes both ways. Yeah, because it's nice too if you have a big backstage. You still can technically perform alone on the stage and limit the capacity of the club. If it's not like slamming through the door, you can really I've definitely done that where it's like the dance floor is not as full. I'm like, hey, clear the stage, and get these people on the dance floor.
Yeah, that's smart.
That's smart. What's going on? What Freakalicious with other DJ gigs and everything else? What are you doing? What's your plan right now?
Just writing a lot of music right now. Just trying to send. It's a game, sending out demos everywhere and numbers
freak.
game. So
Studio freak.
yeah, I'm on when I'm on a hot streak, I try and take advantage of it. But
You just did a bunch of shows. You just did what, Arizona? You
yeah, I was in
did
Arizona, Canada. Yeah, I went to Quebec City.
Where else did you do? You just did.
I was in San Diego.
You did LA
around
recently too, right?
Chicago.
It was this. Was it?
No,
You didn't do LA?
No. But yeah, I've been running around. So we'll see this year.
Chicago, I love the Spy
Dude,
Bar.
Spy Bar was so sick. The crowd stayed the whole time.
Yeah, they're
It's
fun.
packed.
They get it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's really,
They were engaged.
Yeah.
The setup is cool. The sound is really good. It's dark. You know, you can really get into it and just focus
there's no
on.
backstage there.
No, there's really
like
not.
a little skinny walk.
Yeah.
It's funny.
But I think that's one of my favorite clubs to play.
I really
would
like
to
it,
play
yeah.
that again for sure.
Yeah, I've played
Chicago in general really blew my mind. I didn't know much about it.
I've
Until,
always had a good show in Chicago. I
Yeah.
believe. I think I did Electric Hotel once, and then I did Spy Bar twice, and even Electric Hotel, it was more mainstream,
yeah.
but it still worked really good for me.
Is that the one with DJs in the middle? Like the booth is kind of in the middle?
Yeah, the booth in the middle, you have tables behind you,
Yeah.
and then you have the visual guy on the left of you.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
kind of weird.
yeah.
I'm not the biggest fan of when they put the visual guy.
I
next to
know.
the
It just
DJ.
looks like another guy up there, just like.
Well, they're also usually like not really interacting with the crowd, so it's just like you know.
Yeah, it can kind of kill
But
the vibe.
but sometimes it's the opposite. Sometimes they're trying to steal the thunder. you know when the
Pointing at
light
people
goes,
like, yeah,
it
yeah.
almost looks like they're DJ, and they're like. I mean, because they are technically like DJing the lights.
Yeah.
They're DJing, but you see it? Have you ever had a guy like that?
Yeah.
So funny.
Yeah, there was I think it was in some city like north where Tony's mom lives. What's it? Well, I can't. Let's cut that out because I can't dox anyone. Cut that out of this. Anyways, a city up north, a college town. I can't remember what it's called, but they have the DJ deck right next to it, and it was always like a college kid running the lights, and he was awesome, raging with you and stuff.
You know where they had that for us too? At Tallahassee when we first time
Oh,
went
yeah.
in Florida too.
Yeah.
They had it was actually Matty G. He's the DJ. He's a homie. He's in Denver now. He plays really good music. But he was our lighting guy that night when the guy with no tooth
Oh
told me
yeah.
that his dad is the biggest dentist in town.
Doesn't have a tooth.
My dad is the biggest dentist in town. I was like, what is this all about?
That Florida tour was such a good time.
It was so much fun. Yeah, we gotta do it. We gotta run up Florida again.
I know.
Right now it'd probably be a good time
Yeah.
before you get roped into any crazy stuff.
Could finish off in for Music Week. So I'm playing that Wednesday.
Nah, you never want to. I've quit doing that. I used to try and do it. I'm like, okay, I'll do Miami, and then I'll like hit Orlando, and
Yeah.
and it's
Doesn't
everybody is in freaking. Everybody from Florida who's doing anything is in Miami, and then
I meant, like,
and
before,
then
like-
you're just so tired.
Yeah.
Or-
True.
and then-
you need to go to Music Week fresh, or else you're gonna hate it.
But everybody's also tired or getting ready for so like the weekend before Miami Music and the
Yeah.
weekend after in the entire Florida kind of flops for
Yeah.
like unless you're doing like obviously the headline at like the Vanguard or some bigger but probably
Right.
even they have fluctuation on turnout there.
Yeah. It almost feels like everywhere it kind of flops after Music Week, you know?
Yeah, I mean even in LA last year it was 2 years ago when we did Exchange, but they had Beyond Wonderland. And Miami Music Week was happening, and we got that offer to do Exchange, and we were trying to book a
right.
special guest, and it was like impossible because everybody was either in Miami or at Beyond Wonderland. Like
That's
there
right.
was not a single DJ was available. It was
Yeah.
insane.
Yeah. Was that on a Sunday too? It was like
No, it was actually a Friday. It was a
Friday.
great show. It was a
Yeah.
good show. We definitely could have done better. It wasn't like empty. The entire dance floor was full. The second floor wasn't.
that's
the-
a good thing about LA too. There's so many people, you know.
That's the thing about Exchange is nice too because when you have the dance floor full, it's kind of like a double capacity venue. If the dance floor is full and then you can fill out the balcony with the tables and it's like double popping. But if there's
Yeah.
nobody on the balcony or not on the balcony on the second floor, it doesn't even feel that empty.
Yeah,
you know what I
no,
mean?
it doesn't.
And their new 360 setup has been nice.
Yeah, that 360.
Yeah, you played that, right?
Yeah, last January. I think around this time last year.
That was that
Omnom was
long ago?
headlining. Yeah. Isn't that crazy?
Crazy.
Omnom was
That's
headlining,
that's the
so-
show I was referring to. I was like, you just played in LA.
Oh, yeah. It's been a year. That was really cool though. I really like that 360 setup because I don't know, the crowd at Exchange, and I feel like Exchange and Academy, the crowds just go insane.
yeah,
every
Exchange
time.
Academy. Yeah, those
They're
are
loud, they're jumping, they're going ooh, ooh, you know,
Yeah.
like
they like the driving.
and like with the balcony, it's like other cool experience because you look up to and everyone's surrounding you, and
Yeah.
and that was the weekend. Like the
I
next
do like
night,
Academy better. but-
yeah.
Go ahead.
Oh, I was saying that was the weekend where the next night the ceiling fell.
Oh my god!
Remember
yeah,
that?
that's crazy. Yeah. They had to they shut it down
They
for
shut
a
it
long
down
time.
for a long time. Yeah.
they just got back into it a few months ago. Actually,
Yeah.
yeah, that was the week before.
So funny.
I
Imagine that because that's where the booth was. I
think
it
Gallo was supposed to play too.
Oh, really?
Like,
Yeah.
and then his show got moved to San Diego or something.
Yeah. But yeah, Academy, I really like Academy as well. It's just cool with all the screens and the way it's set up.
The Exchange is a little labyrinthy for me. Like you have also all these things you have to go through to get to the green room but it is nice because you have a bunch of but I do like just box venues, you know what I mean, where it's like just one big box.
Yeah.
It's kind of, you don't have the hallways and crevices for people to hide at, you know what I mean? Like sound can be
It always
that way.
feels like there's people everywhere in Exchange. Just like every
Yeah.
staircase, back here, back there. You go over like downstairs. You can
Yeah,
walk to the back bathrooms and there are people just hanging out. You're
I'm
like,
curious what's like the total amount of people that are in between. Like in between the
you have to
dance.
account for that when you're doing numbers.
Yeah, like we had this many people on the dance floor, but there was also 300 people on stairways.
It's like a game, like a Sims game, and people just standing there like, what are you doing?
Oh boy. We got 15 more minutes. You got anything you want to plug? Do you got anything you want to talk about? You got anything?
I mean, I can plug. I don't know, when's this gonna be shown?
Honestly, don't know. I'm kind of working out the schedule still.
Yeah.
I don't know if I would do it like I was gonna do every month, but every month feels too long. My goal right now is to do one piece of long content a week.
Nice.
So podcast, a DJ set, a studio, and then like a lifestyle vlog.
Yeah.
And then, but with the podcast, it's definitely a lot easier, especially, we come in here, they deliver it really quick. Shout out Melrose Podcast. Like, I don't gotta like think about transferring or cutting anything up, and it's just, and it's high quality content, so it's nice. With DJ Live Set, like we were talking with Tik today, how expensive it is for somebody to edit and post produce. Like, I posted my first DJ set on my YouTube channel like a few weeks ago, the Day Trip one.
Yeah, I just posted one too. It's hard,
Where'd you post? You have a few.
On
You had the
Disco.
360 Def.
Oh yeah,
DEF.
yeah.
How is it?
The production for that is insane. They're so good at what they do. I would love to play that party again, just because of how cool it is. That was a really fun one. But I did a kind of multicam, I guess. It was 2 cameras at Disco Pussy.
Nice. Did they get you the footage?
Yeah, they got it over to me.
And you just posted it?
I put it up. I tried to clip it out a little bit with that AI, but I need to go back in and just do it
There is a
myself
website
little
I'll
bit.
show you.
Yeah.
It's a website. You just you literally you can take the YouTube link that you already uploaded.
That's what I did. Yeah. So it was cool. I used some of it for TikTok, but speaking of that, socials and all that kind of stuff, trying to push myself to get better at that.
Yeah, it's definitely a hustle in a sense. Some people love it.
Some people are really good at it. I envy them. I didn't come up in a time where that was like my main focus. It was mostly music and playing cool parties and getting on labels, and that's kind of how my mind was like, oh, you got to do this, this, and this to get there. But now it's totally different, and some people are just so good at it.
Yeah, and that's how you just sell the tickets, and if it can be both.
Yeah.
You're getting good views, but you're also getting good conversion on your sales, whether it's merchandise or ticket sales.
Right, right.
That's where the business is.
So this year, that's what I'm going to really try and focus on, is just getting visibility on my new sound. Because the hard thing is like my Spotify doesn't show what I'm making.
It shows the most popular.
Yeah, and that's what sucks.
Yeah, I don't understand why they do it. They don't give you the option of like being like curated by like same thing for me. Like you know, I'm like I don't want this song. Like sure, it has the most streams, but I don't want it to be like the top of my profile.
Yeah, exactly.
Then it's like,
so if you're going to go listen to my stuff, go look up recent releases, because you know stuff at the top just don't align with it anymore. You know, and there's a chance of like, oh, I can rebrand, do this and that, but I don't really want to do that. It kind of shows the journey of my sound and
I think
maturing, but it just sucks that it is that way, and a lot of people focus solely on Spotify when I don't think, you know.
Some people just look on Instagram, some people just look on Spotify, and they don't even care. Some people don't care if it's real or not. And some people even...
I wish my Beatport was
like,
my
I
main,
know
you know,
certain promoters probably don't even care if it's fake or not. They just need it to be there.
Exactly.
Like, because when they push it to their club owner or whenever certain clubs, certain people go, they click and they're like, oh, well, this person has only this many followers, or this, oh, snap, there's a famous person in the club. They have 500,000 followers, you know.
Even
meanwhile, they got it could be even gained from a completely different,
oh, true, yeah,
you know, whatever, not
different
DJing,
avenue.
different avenue, you know, being, you know, a sports person or a dancer or I don't freaking know.
Yeah. But yeah, so guess I'll just, you know, have a couple releases coming out this year.
Everything you showed, all the demos were super fire.
Thank you.
Yeah, just like I liked how it's more dynamic and it's definitely more groovy.
Yeah, I tried to, I guess the best way I could put it is maturing my sound and the way I, you know, pick samples and master. Because before it was, you know, that EDM, like blast it,
but that, you know, you gotta love it. That's kind, you know, we don't stay the same, and that's like, you know,
you're always learning.
Yeah,
I'm still like always learning when I'm in the studio. I'm like, oh, this, that, oh, okay, you know. So being self-taught, it's just kind of that's another fun part of it.
Yeah, and then the hard part is like, you know, it's easy to chase the change. You could replace it with the hype, or you have to like be creative and come up how to like do it internally and keep your audience engaged and understand exactly what you're you know, trying to do with your project and your sound. And then so it's definitely it's tough.
It's a rat race all the time,
but it's fun. That's what it makes it fun. If it was easy and you just, some people do it, some people just make like you know, I'm so attached to my music and the process of how I make it. Sometimes, you know, well, again, we were talking today with you and Tig about it earlier. That, you know, sometimes for management and teams, it's almost easier. Somebody who doesn't have like very strong opinion or like a calling of some sort or like a point. Not that I have a point to prove, but I'm definitely not trying. Like for me, it's like I like to for me to be engaged. I can't like you know, for some people, and easy sometimes works better like for big audiences, like not necessarily easy but simple, you know. And
simplicity is always gravitated towards, because the, you know, normal listener doesn't hear what we hear and we're like, oh, that's a cool
but then
thing,
you know, that's what happened to me with Deafmind. Like I was chasing that, you know, and I was like, oh, okay, like I don't need to, like I can just hear what's cool and just, you know, I was like, I can make any genre of music now, so like I just, you know, I turn on my antenna of what's hot right now, tune in and do it, you know what I mean? And after a while, I lost, like that's when I was in LA, like I lost sense of it, where I was like, why am I even doing this? Like I was just chasing it, you know what I mean? I was like, I wasn't doing it for myself. I wasn't even doing it.
There's longevity when you do it for yourself, too. You see these guys burn out when they're chasing the hype. And sometimes that hype is like only around for a tiny bit. Like,
a year or two. I've seen so many people who are like, they've played even bigger like events than me, but they don't even do the music anymore. Or like their project completely faded out, and you know, they don't sell any tickets, and
they didn't want to stick to the guns or pivot. So
it's pretty crazy, crazy.
Yeah, man.
Well, I'm excited for you. I'm excited for the new chapter with FreeCon. I'm excited you have a little bit more freedom to pursue your creative. And having fun with it and being,
time to bring the fun back. I was, just felt like a stress ball for.
But also with maturing,
years,
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's, being. I definitely feel like that the older I get, the more. And my sound changes for sure with age, and because you want to be at a certain parties, you have you're driving to certain music, but send me those demos and let's lock in on some collabs. We have some releases too. That I'm sure there's some stuff on your computer, and there's definitely some stuff on my computer. I also have the Nachingi with you and Gallo, which I think is a really good song, which could use like a tight mix down.
We can just revamp it a little bit.
All the parts are there. It just needs a new mix down. It's like 3-year-old mix down, and it's just, I heard it. It was like, it's a little squashed and it's just not really tight. It could be just a little bit more sharp. But I think that track can do really well. I think so. We definitely should.
We were riding some fire up in Topanga.
Yeah, oh my God,
back in the day in the garage.
Susan was in San Diego. He pulled up the jacuzzi and iCarly.
Yeah. So we were having fun back then, man. That was too much fun.
I'm looking for that.
Remember we played that out at Freaky Friday and we were going crazy up there. But, yeah, that was fun.
If you love it, also that people are gonna love it. That's the funny part. People are when you have fun with the music, people have so much more fun with it.
Yeah, they do.
What else? I'm gonna do. We have 5 more minutes, so I'm just gonna do a little. What is it called?
I don't know.
A little promo bites.
Okay.
If you want to do some promo bites as well that you can cut up at the end, I'm just gonna stare at this camera and be like, "What's up, Binge World? This weekend in West Hollywood, Groovebox, our new location. We're gonna be doing groovy, minimal, deep tech music. It's gonna be danceable. It's not gonna be deep and sleepy. It is gonna be techy, maybe even sometimes, but who knows? We got the Void sound system, stellar lineup. It's a 3-day opening weekend, February 7, 8, and 9. Check it out on our website, either blindtiger.la or groovebox.la. I'm excited for this. I'm really excited for this new club, by the way.
Yeah. I'm stoked to come out and check it out.
I'm gonna talk to you about. Well, we're actually gonna go there right now.
We're gonna go check it out.
I'll talk to you about playing there as well.
Cool.
I have a plan.
We'll do it.
But yeah, really excited to have our own regular hour spot with a really good sound system.
Yeah. I'll have to come test out all the new IDs.
Yeah.
Speaking of, I have a couple of releases coming this year. Got Feel the Beat coming out. Got to go stream it, go support it. That comes out on Illustrate. And then I have an EP coming out on Incorrect in February. So stoked on those. Go listen, go check it out. Please.
There you go. Shout out Anata. Shout out Anthony Atala.
Anthony Atala and Anata, baby. Yeah, the real ones, the homies.
So. And hopefully we'll line you up with a Blind Tiger release, or maybe we'll do Nachingi. I don't know.
Yeah, maybe.
Could be. That could be with a 3-way push. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that could be.
And
cool.
it sounds like, I don't know. Gotta talk to Gallo, obviously. You're kind of hard to sometimes to convince to release stuff.
Yeah, I know. Well, I used to not be, but now, I just focus on I'm so like, oh, it needs to go this way now because I felt like too loose about stuff before.
Yeah.
So I'm taking back control.
Sometimes you gotta let go to feel the control.
Let it happen. Well, thanks for having me. That was fun.
Of course, I love you, brother. Chente, FreakOn. Everybody go follow him on his social medias. FreakOn Music.
Please.
SoundCloud, Spotify, Apple Music. He just got his YouTube. He posted, check out his Disco Pussy set from Vegas.
Check it out. Maybe by the time this airs, I'll have another live stream up on YouTube too.
Are you just FreakOn Music on all socials?
Yeah, pretty much. I think SoundCloud there's like an underscore
Where
or
is there a
something.
hub where all of the links are combined through your Instagram?
Yeah, through my Instagram. You
Yeah,
can find
Instagram,
it all there.
link in bio. Click it, check out all his shit. Good, amazing discography. We have a few tunes with him both on. I don't know if we never even dropped a free download together. I don't think we only have official releases.
I don't know if we did. Yeah.
Yeah, go check it out. Shout out Young Freak. Check my stuff out. Binge watch music. Subscribe here on YouTube. Go check out my live streams and the previous podcasts. Shout out Binge World. Shout out everybody. Let's get it.
Peace.